because he injured himself in the training camp, and that was one of the reasons why he only played 16 minutes last night.
He is back on the floor now and appears to be getting ready to start in this ball game. This is Xingquan Zhang, the head coach of the China national team since 1991.
Yeah, he's young. He coached the team in the '92 Olympics. They won the Asian Games in '93, and then he coached in the Goodwill Games. So it's a very young basketball team, and he's trying to implement a new style of play.
You see that Shaquille O'Neal has returned. Looks as though he is stretching out that lower back. In the suit right in the middle, you saw Isaiah Thomas, a member of this team, but not playing because of injury. And Don Nelson, 9 50-win seasons and 17 years in the NBA with the Milwaukee Bucks and now with the Golden State Warriors. He is assisted by Don Chaney, Pete Gillen, and Rick Majerus. International rules again. Remember, 92-foot court and 2 20-minute halves.
Then you have the trapezoid lane, which is at 19 feet at its base. The three-point field goals are at 20 foot 6 inches. In the NBA, it's 23 feet 9 inches. The 30-second shot clock. The ball is alive above the cylinder. So if the ball hits the rim and is up, you can go and take it off. No goaltending. 5-foul limit. Remember, a technical foul is a personal foul. Plus, zone defenses are legal.
And the Chinese team likes to play a zone defense. They are very deliberate. Played a lot of zone last night against Brazil. Of course, to the U.S. team, zone means three-point bombs from Reggie Miller, Kevin Johnson, Joe Dumars, Dan Marley, et al.
Well, we saw last night that they launched 26 threes. Now, they made 12, and it's within that type of style of play.
See the officials. Bill Crowley from Canada, Antonio Campos from Angola are the 2 officials. 2 in international play as opposed to the 3 expected in the NBA. And we're ready to get underway. Shaquille O'Neal stole the tip, but no toot of the whistle. And the China team comes away with the ball. This is Jun Soon and Hao Shen, 7-1. Good post-up shooter. Misses this one. Rebound Shaquille O'Neal. Kemp on the run. This is the jam.
Tonight, we will see a lot of that. China will have difficulty getting back in transition because of the quickness factor. They will not be able to get on the offensive board, so it'll be surprising if they get many second shots.
Wo Zhang is number 5. This is Jun Sun, number 7. Out of bounds, intended for Shan on the baseline.
Now, Shan, if he would have moved a little quicker, the layup was there for him. That was an excellent pass.
Kevin Johnson misses. We have a whistle underneath. Foul against the USA.
In international competition, they will call the over-the-back, pushing in the back automatically. They will not allow any rough stuff to go on in the painted area.
Jun Sun handling the ball, number 7.
Now, I like him. This young guy is a very complete player.
Wo Zhang from the baseline.
Remember we said at the top, they are excellent jump shooters. They are terrific at the three-point shots, will shoot a high percentage.
Shaquille O'Neal tries a 15-footer, knocked out of bounds by Kemp. It'll belong to the team from the People's Republic of China, and they do lead 2-0, just as Spain did last night, and the USA is 0 for their first 3. A missed jam and 2 missed jumpers.
See, you cannot allow them to run their offense. They're so methodical, they'll waste a lot of time, and then they'll end up right there with a halfway decent shot.
Adiljan misses. Shen with the rebound. Adiljan is the man with the headband wearing number 4.
See, they're not going anywhere in a hurry, so they have a tendency to lull you to sleep.
Hao Shen, he's 7-1, remember. Number 9 is Nakin Wo. Kemp way out in front. He didn't miss this jam.
That will be the norm tonight. There'll be plenty of that. Shot blocking, quick rebounds, looking for guys releasing.
And the Chinese could not get the ball inbounded. It will belong to the United States.
See, China must make up their mind tonight. When a shot goes up, you must get back. You cannot give the U.S. the breakaways.
Shaquille O'Neal with a spin move inside the basket and the foul.
Well, it's interesting. Last night, any time that the ball went into the post area, Spain only double-teamed the post-up people on one occasion. And you can see right there, they're going to allow people to play one-on-one. So all of our big people should be able to take everyone to school.
Shaquille missing on the free throw. No surprise. Jun Sun to Adil John. Back to Jun Sun. Out of bounds. Off of Sun, and it will belong to USA. This China team probably very nervous playing this Dream Team 2. Reggie Miller missing badly. Back to Miller. And the foul is on Sun. That'll be his first.
The Chinese players, Shan is 7'1", but he only weighs 215 pounds. The other players, 3 of them are 6'6", but slight of build. And then you have their point guard at 5'10".
Here comes Wei Dong Ho. He's the man who scored 27 points last night, is the leading scorer for this team, and a very nice player. He can leap, too. He had a very entertaining slam dunk last night. He stands 6'6", weighs 198 pounds.
He's only 23 years of age, Bob. He is blessed with a lot of talent because he can play inside and outside. And he's very courageous. He'll challenge and take the ball to the rim.
6-2 USA, 17:54 remaining first half. Wei Dong Ho, number 8 with the ball.
Whenever you play teams that are going to run the clock, you must be very aggressive defensively, overplay the passing lane, and put some pressure on the dribblers.
Wei Dong Ho thought about the 3 and then saw Reggie Miller. Ran right smack dab into Sean Kemp, who releases for the run out, gets the lay in, and the foul on Adil John. I think this is what a lot of United States fans expected to see against Spain last night.
Well, you can see right here, they're going to trap Ho. And once he puts the ball over his head, see, that's one thing you never want to do when the other team is bigger than you. They'll just knock the ball free, and then they're in a transition game. Bob, you made an excellent point. You made an excellent point in saying last night that could not be done. But then again, last night, Spain, 4 players over 30 years of age, a lot of brute strength, 6 guys over 6'9", so they could play physically with the U.S.
And more early pressure by the U.S. Joe Dumars, one of the best defenders in the history of the NBA, on Wei Dong Ho. Kevin Johnson teams with him to cause the ball to be knocked out of bounds. 24 seconds on the shot clock now for China, as it took them 6 just to get it across. Tao Shen, the 7-footer. Wei Dong Ho got a good jump shot, not this time. Rebound, Shaquille O'Neal. Intercepted, Wei Dong Ho.
Now he'll take that shot.
Miss it this time, Kemp with the rebound. Dumars wide open from 17. Kemp keeps it alive. Adil John, the point guard. Wei Dong Ho off the glass, gets the rattle, and it is 8-4. Quickly back to U.S. Certainly getting it even off the main basket down in the offensive end of the court quicker than last night. Got a call on Tao Shen. That'll be his 2nd personal foul.
What they do is they allow their players to stay in the game. Now, Ho right here, you're going to see him. Now, he can finish. Now, that was a very difficult shot because he had to readjust. As Kevin Johnson ran in front of him, he had to readjust, and he had the presence of mind to bank the shot.
Looking for O'Neal, Tao Shen trying to front him. The open man off the double team is Dumars. That's a 3 for Joe.
Well, last night, Joe was on fire. He made 5 out of 8 3-point attempts.
11-4. 16:08 left in the 20-minute first half. Adil John gets the screen from Tao Shen. Shaquille O'Neal steps out of bounds. It'll belong to China. We have a timeout on the floor. 15:59 to go in the first half. Dream Team 2-11, China 4.
Inside Stuff Saturdays, all summer long. Score a Dream Team 2 Cup at McDonald's when you're supersized.
Just 39 cents more.
For more drink.
And more fries.
Supersize any extra value meal and collect the Dream Team 2 today.
Then look out, world. We're hungry to play.
McDonald's extra value meals are a great way to score. For just $2.99, get any one of these 4. Cheeseburger, McChicken, Quarter Pounder with cheese, or Big Mac extra value meal, whichever you please.
I had this dream. Everybody had on the new BK diamond cells. And that made them all as good as me. The BKs made them tougher, lighter, meaner.
They're all as good as you, Derek.
Then it hit me. I'm the only pro in diamond cells. What do I gotta be afraid of?
1 minute, I'm telling myself to buy the best stuff. Next minute, save money. Buy the best, save money. Buy the best, save money. Save money. The best, save money. Save money. I'm beginning to get on my nerves.
Why compromise when there's the affordable Value Point Performance Series from IBM?
This guy on the plane, he had this button in the middle of his keyboard. This red button. It's like a mouse, but you just touch it. I want one. I want a button.
Introducing the affordable ThinkPad 360 with TrackPoint 2 from IBM.
The Coach's Corner, brought to you by IBM ThinkPad, the official notebook computer of USA Basketball.
Don Nelson following in the footsteps of Chuck Daly as the head coach of Dream Team 2.
Well, you can see with the 803 wins, 7th most in NBA history, and he did it in the second least amount of games. Red Auerbach first, and then he's in that second position. Has a very difficult job because his team cannot win by enough points to satisfy the world. Then number 2, he has 12 players. They all want to play 40 minutes. Unfortunately for him, it's a 40-minute game, not 48 in the NBA. So players 11 and 12 are not going to get double-figure minutes, meaning 10 minutes or more. And that's very demoralizing to some of these people because of their all-star status.
Dominique Wilkins made no bones about it. He was upset with his lack of playing time last night. Kevin Johnson with a steal and the jam. This is much more full-court pressure than we saw last night against Spain in the first half. Tao Shen intimidated and traveling.
Well, that's...
But wouldn't you be?
Yeah, well, Tao Shen, he does not elevate very high off the floor, but he has a very soft jump shot, and he's an excellent foul shooter.
That was the 4th shot of this game to Shaquille O'Neal, who has 5 rebounds to go with his 4 points.
Now, that was Shen's 3rd foul. Now, keep an eye on KJ. Now, watch Ho run the step. Whenever you play, we said at the top, slow, methodical teams. You must go extend, overplay, put some pressure on the dribblers, and when they pick up the dribble, you deny the passing lanes. Up-tempo yourself, but it's got to come defensively.
Ball on the floor from Sean Cook. He just picks it up and jams it home. Tao Shen had to sit down, and number 11, Yudong Liu, only 6'7", is in to play center now. He's the man with the ball at number 11.
Well, we tell you, the next 2 games, this game and the game versus Brazil, the teams are not going to be able to match up at all with the USA.
Reggie Miller throws it away. Here's Adil Jan. Wei Dong Ho, the best shooter. Inside the hole. Excellent pass from Yudong Liu.
I like Ho. I'm telling you, he can play at a lot of levels because he's 6'9", and he's very quick. He can play outside, and you can see his quickness on the opposite side of the floor, and he adjusts his shot while he's in the air. That's very difficult to do.
Ho with his first personal. You look at him, 6'6", 198 pounds, only 23 years old. Very young team from China. The Asian champions 9 of the last 10 years. 4 consecutive championships.
Well, their point guard is 27 years of age. The rest of the players are between 21 and 24. Right now, China in a 2-3 zone.
Joe Dumars misses the 3. Rebound to Wong.
Nice.
On the break. Is missed by Wo Zhang. Wow. 6 points from the Shack to go with his 5 rebounds. Yudong Liu. Traveling is the call on Nakin Wo, and the ball is turned over to the USA.
Now on this catch, watch how he catches it and turns in the air. And this is what the people really became excited. They're all here to see the big fella do his thing.
China with 9 turnovers in 6 minutes. And we have a 19-6 score.
Well, they're going to play 2-3 zone. And in a way, this is good for the USA.
Kevin Johnson with 2 turnovers. Here's Wee Dong Ho. And a big jam. We talk about his athletic ability.
It's okay, Jay. You did that to me at the other end. I'm sending this one home on top of you.
19-8.
See, I like this. The USA needs to work against the zone. Let's see what kind of an offense that they're going to run, get the bugs out, because as they move through this tournament, there will be teams that will pack it in.
From long range, Wo Zhang hits the 3. It's 19-11, 13:30 remaining in the first half. China with a mini run here. Dumars with a penetration. Rebound to Nakin Wo. Jin Long Wo.
They're brothers, the Wo brothers. The fellow with the ball right now, number 10, was the MVP in the Asian games.
Liu, number 11, into the paint, nowhere to go with it. The turnover to Shaquille O'Neal. Kevin Johnson. And the foul.
That basket and backboard getting a very early workout. I'm happy that Kevin unselfishly gave this up. Let the big fellas run, because tonight they're going to be able to do anything that they please.
8 points for Shaquille already to go with 5 rebounds. Against Spain last night, the post-up players for the U.S. really didn't get the ball as much as after the game they would like to have done.
Well, and they have a right to complain about that. In a 40-minute game, you launch 26 threes against an inferior opponent when all you have to do is go down inside. They're being covered one-on-one. They had a chance to do their dance.
Larry Johnson, who's in for the first action tonight for the USA with a rebound. To Kevin, he's fouled. Wave off the basket.
In international play, you will never get a continuation. Wherever that foul happens, they'll put him on the line, shooting 1-and-1 or 2. Now, the big factor is in international FIBA ball, you shoot the penalty on the 8th foul of the half. You also only get 2 timeouts per half, and the timeout must be called by the coach. A player cannot call a timeout.
O'Neal sits down with his 8 points and 5 boards, and Derek Coleman, who in limited minutes played well, I thought, for the U.S. team last night.
Well, he did a nice job. In 17 minutes, he came in with 11 points and did a solid job in the rebounding department for them with 4, and he made some things happen while he was out on the floor.
Those are his numbers from last night. 5 of 8 from the floor. 23-11, full court pressure from the United States. Wee Dong Ho, who handles the ball well, scores well, athletic player. You'll see him doing a lot. Wo Zhang, number 5, missed the jam, but he was fouled. I think that surprised everyone.
It sure did. It definitely surprised Derek Coleman. He thought he was coming over for an uncontested shot block. Just keep an eye on this now. See, he's lining him up from the right of your screen, and the big. Look at this. How about this? He says, hey, I'm dunking right in your face.
Wo Zhang is 6'6". A free throw shooter at the line. Played 21 minutes, had 9 points last night. He's 27 years old.
See, they have the ability to get to the foul line. They did the same thing in St. Petersburg. High percentage field goal, high percentage threes, get to the foul line. Last night shot 44 foul shots. But the problem is they cannot rebound at either end of the floor.
And their 7-footer, Tao Shen, is on the bench with 3 fouls in the first half of the first half.
And that's why they're basically playing 2-3 zone here.
Bad pass, the steal by Wo. This is Wo. Nice move along the baseline, and he's fouled by Larry Johnson.
See, they're very well schooled in ball fakes. They'll go by you. But when they throw that ball fake, and if you do not adjust, they shoot the three right in your face. Now, that's something that you must be concerned about. Now, you know you're going to win this game. You're going to overpower them. We all can see that. But the big thing is you don't want to keep them around.
The turnover saved by Xiaobin Gong, and now back to Larry Johnson. Kevin Johnson inside to Derek Coleman. We have enough woes and hoes and Johnsons on the floor, wouldn't you say?
I would say yes.
Sounds like Woe, Ho, and Johnson sounds like a law firm to me. 23-13 is the score. 11:51 to go in the first half. 23-13, Dream Team 2 over China. 11:51 to go in the first half. We'll be having a total of 6 games for you here at the World Championship of USA Basketball on TNT. Next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll have them at 9 Eastern Time. Tuesday, U.S. will play probably Australia or Croatia. And on Wednesday, either Greece or Puerto Rico, depending on the outcome of their brackets. Then Friday at 9, Saturday at 7, the semi-final game. All from Toronto next week. We are in Hamilton, Ontario for Pool A. At Maple Leaf Gardens tonight, Russia and Angola playing at the same time as this game in Toronto, and Russia leading 46-21.
Well, next week, USA will definitely run into some, established teams, meaning Croatia, Canada, Russia, possibly Greece or Puerto Rico. These are very established international teams.
U.S. stealing the ball at half court, feeding to Larry Johnson, who doesn't get it in, but will go to the free throw line. U.S. has Larry Johnson, Mark Price, Derek Coleman, Reggie Miller, and Kevin Johnson on the floor.
You notice in the early going, anytime that there's a fast break and a USA player goes for a slam dunk, everyone just stops and watches. There's not going to be any competition here to block shots. No one wants to be injured for the rest of this tournament, so they're just saying, do your thing. All right, just make sure that you do not put me in the front row. That's all.
The biggest player on the floor right now for China is at 6'7". He's handling the ball. This is Zheng. He's 6'5". Good crossover dribble past Larry Johnson.
Nice.
Mark Price has to commit the foul inside on Xiaobin Gong. He is also 6'7".
One thing about China, same thing at St. Peter. There's a very frustrated coach. See what he's trying to do. He knows he's being overpowered by talent. He has a very young team. We said the average age is 24. He's new on international competition. He's only been a head coach since '91. He's trying to get them to understand that they've got to continue to run their stuff, take the ball strong to the basket, but let's try to get back defensively and just get in front of some of these people.
25-14, 11:33 to go first half. Mark Price open for the jumper. That's a three.
Well, with Mark Price and then Dan Marley, as well as Joe Dumars and Reggie Miller, against the zones, they always have the threat of the three-point shot. Remember, the FIBA three-point rule is 3 feet 3 inches shorter than the NBA three.
That was Yudong Liu missing from 16 feet. He hit the basket that put the game against Brazil in overtime last night. Mark Price dropping it inside to Larry Johnson. Foul USA.
Well, it's interesting now. We've played 9 minutes and 10 seconds. The inability of the USA team to convert all of these easy opportunities. Now, in last night's game in the first half, there was one of the stars of the game. Joe Dumars last night had 21. Reggie Miller had 20. In last night's game, Spain would hold you to one shot.
28-14, 10:41 to go first half. This is Gong with the ball.
See, right now, U.S. picked up their defense, taking away the passing lanes. And a young team like this, they're scrambling because they want to run their methodical offense.
5 on the shot clock. Gong on the drive with the reverse.
Now, he's done a nice job since he's come in as a substitute, taking the ball strong to the front of the rim.
12-point lead for Dream Team 2. Price with the penetration. Larry Johnson with the lay-in. King Long Wo with the ball, number 10. He had 16 points last night. Here's the 6'7", 24-year-old Xiaobin Gong.
Well, this is his second good move. Now, you see he wraps around Dan Marley. The referee was right there, but they're not going to take that away from them. If they have any tricks, tonight's the night to use your tricks, because the refs are not going to call it. They're going to let you get to the shot, get to the basket, and take a shot. Nice.
Here with the drive, Dominique Wilkins, who just came in for the U.S., blocks the shot, but there is a whistle. Dominique Wilkins was quoted in the Toronto papers as saying he was very upset about having paid his dues 12 years in the NBA and getting in only in garbage time last night. Don Nelson getting him in here halfway through the first half tonight. Of course, Dominique recently signed with the Boston Celtics.
Well, last night he played 7 minutes. That's why I say, how can Don Nelson win? What he did, they only been in practice for 2 weeks. And if you come into camp out of shape, the other guys are ahead of you, well, unfortunately, you paid your dues, but you cannot play guys ahead of other people when they're beating you in camp on a daily basis.
Wilkins with the travel. 30-18, USA. Relaxing the full court pressure now. Number 10 is King Long Wo. He was 4 of 5 from three-point land last night. This is Wee Dong Ho, the leading scorer from the win over Brazil, number 8.
Well, see, when they play in their country, they never run into this kind of defense.
Yu Dong Liu with the jumper.
The teams play soft, they play zone, and you get plenty of wide open shots.
Zhang with the rebound.
Where we told you about letting them hang around, they're only down 10. That's what's amazing here.
Whoa with the drive. He's open for the three. Coleman on the rebound. Larry Johnson. Cherry picking.
Well, anytime that a forward wants to release, they can release. And the red shirts will all be on the offensive board. Naturally, he's going to be wide open over half court.
Sean Kemp started the game that way. Here's Wee Dong Ho, missing from long range. Rebound, Larry Johnson out to Dan Marley. Dominique Wilkins, look out. 14-point lead for Dream Team 2.
The only way that China can stay in this and stay fairly close is if they make all of their perimeter shots.
Coleman trying to go behind his back to Dominique Wilkins, knocked out of bounds by China. It'll be inbounded by USA.
Well, I thought last night for myself, you're an interested spectator. You were disappointed in the amount of points they gave up, 100, but you're also disappointed in the 18 turnovers.
Derek Coleman has it stripped on the floor. That was King Long Wo taking the ball. He's only 6'3" down there.
Coleman just popped him. And Wo jumped up and looked, and then he thought again, and he just walked away. I mean, that was good.
8 minutes to go, first half. Bob Neal, Hubie Brown with you from the World Championship of Basketball in Hamilton, Ontario. And I note on the far sideline that Don Nelson is sending Steve Smith into the game early also.
Now, the reason why I brought that out, because I had to laugh, I'm sorry, but sure. Whoa, his hobby, he's a judo guy. Okay? That's why he looked.
That's why he stayed back.
That's right.
His hands are insured.
But we tell you, he was the MVP of the Asian Games. He's a, very solid sub, comes in, leads the team.
That's the scouting report I'd want to know, is who knows judo, karate, etc. 36-20. USA leading with 7:46 to go, first half.
Dream Team 2 is back in action Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on TNT.
Blindfold, monsieur?
No.
Cigarette?
No.
What do you want on your tombstone?
Pepperoni and cheese.
Tombstone pizza, Pierre.
What do you want on your tombstone? Real meat, real cheese. Much better tasting than pizzas made with imitation cheese. So what do you want on your tombstone?
Napkin? No.
This is an apple. That's an orange. This is round. That's square. Here's my point. MCI keeps advertising
Cats?
how people get big savings by switching from AT&T.
Dogs.
But did you notice how they're comparing their big discount plans
Apples.
against AT&T rates with no discount?
Oranges.
Come on! Why doesn't MCI give you straight, easy-to-compare information?
Well, then they wouldn't have much to talk about.
Your true voice.
What is cool? Does who you hang with make you cool? Yo, B, check me out! I'm funky. Maybe not. Hey, wait, these dudes are cool.
Oh, bro, I'm totally cool.
Nah, maybe going prep is cool.
Hey, Buffy.
Now that is not cool. If I was like this guy, then I'd be cool. I need a cold drink. What should I drink?
Give your brain a rest. Obey your thirst. Sprite.
What should I drink it with?
Tonight, TNT's finally gone 100% weird. We're releasing our raging hormones with Hot Dog the Movie, Oxford Blues, Illegally Yours, and Date with an Angel. TNT's going all the way. Tonight, starting at 9 on 100%.
Hubie, you're talking about the transition of the United States off the defensive rebounds.
Well, you're going to see here right now on the penetration, they do a fairly good job here. And now once the ball is kicked out, see, they want that three-point shot. Now we're going to stop it. Now keep an eye right here on Larry Johnson. He's going to come here, challenge, and then release. Now that's what they've been doing anytime that a big man gets outside. Now he's gone because why? They know that they do not need the rebounding. And this is what you're seeing. Kemp, Larry Johnson out in the open floor.
And a 36-20 lead for Dream Team 2. You see the fast break points differential, 19-5 USA. Number 11, Yudong Yu, only 23 years old with the free throw. Let's check the American lineup now for the United States. Steve Smith, Derek Coleman, Mark Price, Dominique Wilkins, and Dan Marley on the floor. Chinese in the zone defense. Zone buster. Coleman with the rebound. He's fouled. Count the basket.
You can see the strategy is try to foul them before they get the shot off. Unfortunately, that was just brute strength.
Didn't see a lot of zone from Spain last night, but this Chinese team plays it a great deal. And of course, with the great perimeter shooters and only the 20 and 1/2 feet three-point line makes it pretty easy.
Well, you know that you will see it when you play teams like Greece, Puerto Rico, Russia. They all play 2-3 zone and pack it in because they have big people that can rebound and hold you to one shot, forcing you now to show that you can beat them from the perimeter. So that's why working against the 2-3 zone is so important.
Full court pressure now, USA. As you look at the difference in the NCAA, FIBA, and NBA three-point distances. This is Zhang, number 5. Weidong Ho is number 8. Yu. Ho on the drive against Wilkins. Gets his own rebound and went across the top. Tao Shen is back in. He's the 7-1 center for China with 3 fouls.
Well, they're trying to make a run right now. He has 6 minutes and 50 seconds as a coach, and he's saying, hey, forget about sitting down guys with fouls. We've got to close the game now. Let me put my best players out there.
King Long Wo drives into the middle. Both Mourning and Wilkins were there. Wo just now getting off the floor. Mourning missing. 42 to 22.
I'd be a little bit concerned, not for tonight. We're talking about for the rest of this tournament. See, the USA continues to miss the open, easy shots. Now, sure, they're going to get the second shot and put the ball back in. There's your second chance points. Why? China, no competition at all. But what happens as you move along and you run into better and stronger and more international experienced players?
5 seconds to shoot. Liu. Tao Shen, the 7-footer. There's the soft touch. It won't fall. He's fouled.
He's only a young fella. He's only 24 years of age. And you can see that he is going to get better as he gets the experience. Now, he played in the 1993 team, the Asian Championship team, and they're building around him because when they play over in the Far East, he is so big and he is an offensive threat, because as you're watching him play last night against Brazil and again tonight, he has some very nice soft fadeaway shots. You get him on the foul line, he can make his foul shots.
Carrying 3 personal fouls. Remember, international competition, 5 fouls and you're out, so he's in foul trouble early. Of course, he started off trying to defend Shaquille O'Neal. 41-24 USA. Kevin Johnson back in. Steve Smith to Mourning. Wilkins from Steve Smith.
Well, it's Dominique at his best. The highlight film with the dunking.
Wei Dong Ho driving on Dominique Wilkins. He's heard, you know, take the ball to the hole against Wilkins.
Well, Ho is very talented, and he's been quiet up until now. It's a very unselfish pass, allowing Wilkins to do it. You know, sometimes we have a tendency to forget that Dominique Wilkins averaged over 30 points twice during his career. And, you know, for his career, he's averaging 36.5 points a game.
Wei Dong Ho open on the baseline. That's a 3. 43-27, 5:23 to go first half. Wilkins getting careless with the ball. 3-on-2. Pull up. Zhang missing. Alonzo Mourning rebounding. Marley's pull 3. It won't go down. U.S., as you said, Hubie, missing a lot of shots. King Long count it, and the foul.
So you look at him and you say, you know what, son, you should lose 10 pounds. But you know what? He's a type of a player you can see. Yeah, he might be chunky, but he knows what he's doing. He's very sound. He understands the game. And over in St. Petersburg, where he was not so overmatched, you know, playing against a lot of the European teams, he excelled in leading his team. And you look at him, you say, you know, this guy isn't quick, except for one thing. He's clever with the basketball, and he gets to where he wants to go.
6'3", 198. We'll have to get a shot of King Long Wo's sneakers compared to any of the players of the United States team to show you high-tech and low-tech. Steve Smith inside. Pass off the chest of Mourning. 3-on-1 fast break.
Nice.
John.
Nice pass to Liu.
Blocked by Mourning. He came out of nowhere. Now 3-on-2 the other way. Punched away from Kevin Johnson. The foul, and that's 4 on Tao Shen.
I'll tell you what, Kevin Johnson right now is shaken because he got popped and he hit himself right in his mouth. And you can see he has the towel up. Now keep an eye on Mourning coming right down the middle of the floor. Now that was a nice fake. See, you got to dunk that. You must dunk that shot, because what you're doing is you're underestimating the defense. Now that was an offensive foul. I mean, it's Shan now picks up his foot. Now you can see Kevin might be bleeding inside of his mouth.
Hey, bounced it right on the floor. .44-30, U.S. by 24, and there you see the 7-1 center for China with 4 fouls. When he comes out, they have to replace him with a center at 6'7". Full court pressure. Weedong Ho finally breaking the pressure. Jun Sun getting back into the game. He started at one of the forward spots. From long range, knocking it down is King Long Wo. He was 4 of 5 from three-point land last night.
Oh, he can make them. And the thing about it is he'll take it under pressure. Nice pass.
Smith to Alonzo Mourning.
Last night, Steve Smith only had 5 minutes of time. But it's nice to see he and Wilkins out here early, getting playing time, and then, you know, give up the basketball, let the other people get the high percentage shot.
Long Wo missing that three-point attempt. Dominique Wilkins traveled, no whistle. Instead, the pass is made to Kevin Johnson with the easy lay-in.
See, right now, team from China, they're tired. They're really tired. The pace is just too quick for them, and they're not getting a chance to rest a little bit when they run that methodical offense.
Jun Sun with the penetration move. Try to spin move.
Nice.
And hands it inside to the 7-footer. It's blocked by Mourning. Reggie Miller. Lob. Remember now, that lob can't go over the rim. But the foul anyway. We have a commercial timeout. 2:57 remaining in the first half. 49-33, Dream Team 2.
I want a computer that really flies. I'm not talking Orville and Wilbur stuff. I'm talking where your cheeks are like this.
Introducing the powerful Value Point Performance Series from IBM.
1 minute, I'm telling myself to buy the best stuff. Next minute, save money. Buy the best, save money. Buy the best, save money. Save money. The best, save money. Save money. I'm beginning to get on my nerves.
Why compromise when there's the affordable ThinkPad 360 from IBM?
Welcome to Hoop Hijinks with today's contestant, Anthony Hardaway. And he will be wearing the new Nike Air Pounds as he attempts to win these new Nike Air Flight 55s with a layup.
Cool.
Good luck and watch out for those sharks.
Sharks.
Nice shot, but I'm afraid you can only get these shoes at Foot Locker. Just watch out for those stampeding bulls.
Stampeding bulls?
The new Nike shoes. If you don't win them here, you can get them at Foot Locker.
A 3-hour tour.
Sunday nights this fall, the NFL is on TNT. Season begins August 18th on TNT. Sunday night!
Kevin Johnson with a bloody lip. He tried to drive against Tao Shen, the 7-1 center for China. You see him go on the trip over the knee right there, and here, ow. And he's being treated on the sideline right now with some ice. You can see it. Ow. That's graphic. Thank you, Kevin. Maybe a little more than we needed to see medically there, but we know what the problem is. They're treating it on the sideline, and he's back in the ball game.
I got 8.
Dumars, Miller, Kevin Johnson, Steve Smith, and Mourning. 4 guards and a center.
Last night, Alonzo Mourning only played 9 minutes. Shaq and O'Neal only played 16. You say, well, where'd the center time? They played Derek Coleman for quite a few minutes in the second half at the center position.
Alonzo Mourning may get an opportunity to play some power forward, something he wants to do because the chief, Robert Parrish, has signed with the Charlotte Hornets, in case you haven't heard.
Well, 2-year deal. So there'll be times that you'll see Parrish at center, Mourning at big forward, Larry Johnson at small forward.
Wow, good front line. Jun Sun. Inside to Liu.
Nice. That was very intelligent. He knew that he had a mismatch. He could shoot up over the top of KJ.
Johnson with a penetration to Alonzo Mourning. Dumars inside. Joe Dumars is so good, he goes unnoticed. I mean, it's literally true. He's as good a defender is, maybe the best defender on the floor, can score from anywhere, handles the ball beautifully, can play the point if he needs to. And again, people just don't list him in the great guards.
Yeah, well, the people who appreciate him are his peers and the coaches in the league. Everybody gives him all the true accolades. Never mind the fact that he made the all-defensive team 5 times. The first team 4 of the 5 times.
He's an incredible player. He said, I know when you interviewed him recently when we were out in San Francisco, he said, you know, I consider myself a nice guy, and being named to this team proves that nice guys can finish, if not first, at least high in the standings.
Well, you know what's great about him? He came out of college as the 4th leading scorer in the history of the NCAA and came right in and became a defensive player, and he played both positions, 2 guard and point. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. See, Woe right now is exhausted. Number 10, Isaiah, you can see, appreciated that one. That's where you love it, when a player is coming at you and they give you that step move and they still come right back to their right hand. Call that an inside-out move.
A little bit of chafe between Isaiah and his former running mate Joe Dumars. They've had a chance to make up for that. There was some things about some criticism from Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah, of course, now an executive here in Toronto with the new franchise, the Toronto Raptors. But the two of them are real warrior friends, and they've made up. Isaiah was saying yesterday in one of his press interviews, as you look at them, speaking of press, the full court press, he says, I'm learning as an executive, you can't say the same kind of things as you can as a player. No kidding. Now Shen carrying 4 fouls, being defended by Steve Smith and fouled by Steve.
See, Shen, believe it or not, at 7'1", is not one of their principal rebounders. The real rebounders are the 3 6'6" guys. What he is a decoy, and when he plays against the teams that are much slower, that also lack the jumping ability, he blocks out well. Well, here, unfortunately, tonight, he just can't do that. Now, you say, well, why is he in the game with 4 fouls? The man in your picture right now, the coach of China, he did this throughout the tournament at the Goodwill games. They play guys until they foul out of the game. They don't worry about it.
55-36, 19-point lead for Dream Team 2. Steve Smith, the wraparound to Alonzo Mourning. Full court pressure from the U.S. with 1:16 to go in the half. They know this Chinese team is tired. Liu steps out of bounds. It'll belong to Dream Team 2. From Maple Leaf Gardens tonight, Russia having no problem with Angola, 62-28. Angola, very small team. Joe Dumars with the runner in the paint.
Well, Russia, they have 6 guys 6'9" or better, and they have Fedosov at 6'10", who was drafted by Boston and traded to Milwaukee. He has great talent. He's going to play 1 more year in the Spanish Pro Division this winter and then attempt the NBA the following year. Plus, they have 3 outstanding guards.
Larry Johnson looking on from the Dream Team sideline. You know, of course, his nickname from the commercials, Grandmama. The players here have named Dominique Grandpapa.
Yeah, that's true.
But for a different reason. He's the oldest player. Not nuts about his nickname, but really happy about going to the Boston Celtics, who've added Purvis Ellison and Blue Edwards to their team.
But very, very, very happy because he signed a 3-year deal.
Even more so. Also an extension, by the way, for Chris Ford. We congratulate him with his contract extension in Boston.
Yeah, we're happy that Chris was extended for 2 more years. ML Carr here this evening. You know, major transformation with the Celtics. Not only the trade that brought Blue Edwards and also Derek Strong from Milwaukee, but then they sell, you see ML in our picture right now, replacing Dave Gavitt with the Boston Celtics. Also, they signed Purvis Ellison, a free agent, and then they come with Dominic Wilkins. So they definitely have some new faces, and then you come in with their first-round draft choice, Montrose from UNC.
Dumars off the steal. This kind of intense pressure is what we saw a lot of from Dream Team 1 that simply demoralized teams. The same is happening here tonight. A steal and Reggie Miller building the lead in the final minute 16 against a very tired China team. Finally across the timeline, but even then it couldn't be controlled by Woe. Miller.
Well, see, all of this has come about. Don Nelson went to the 4 guards, and then he played Alonzo Mourning. So naturally, they're just overpowering him with the quickness. Now, this they can do at any time against this type of competition.
Jung Sung has it knocked out of there by Steve Smith. Miller runs it down to Joe Dumars.
Well, Dumars and Reggie Miller had great games last night. 21 for Dumars, 20 for Reggie Miller.
That's the end of the half. Alonzo Mourning with 11 points, 3 blocks, and in this last couple of minutes of play, the United States just exploded to build the 71-38 lead.
With the 3 blocks, and all of them were rather sensational.
Looking at the Chinese coach getting his team ready to come back out for the second half, trailing by 33.
Unfortunately for them, when they were in St. Petersburg, they did not win a game. But last night, in their first game here, they defeat Brazil in overtime. So there was a great euphoria, and then what happens? They couldn't have a day off to enjoy it. They had to play the USA tonight.
Shaquille O'Neal starting at center for the U.S. There's Reggie Miller. Joe Dumars. Kevin Johnson with his split lip from the fall on the floor.
Well, very quietly, Joe Dumars came in with 11 points in that first half.
Shaquille easily winning the tip. Remember, Tao Shen, the 7-footer for China with the turnover, has 4 fouls. Turnover and turn back. Dumars. Rebound, Tao Shen. Adil John is number 4, the point guard. Number 5 for China is Wo Zhang handling the ball. This is Jung Sung to Adil John, who Hubie Brown said reminded him of Willie Nelson.
Only because of the headband.
I thought maybe he was a guitarist. Shaquille O'Neal with the slap and the foul.
See, Shan takes his time. He's doing it by the numbers. You're saying, well, let's replay that. It looks like slow motion. No, we're giving you real speed, okay? But he just takes his time, gets to where he wants to go, and he has a very nice, quiet game.
Adil John with that headband standing out at half court, you know, that may be an advertisement. I don't know if they have a lot of endorsements
how
on
about
that team, but it's clearly an ad. Cliff Robinson comes to mind when I see that headband. And Jim McMahon with the Bears.
Well, he's the oldest player on the team at 27 years of age. He and Woe, number 10.
Dumars in the paint to Reggie Miller. Back to Dumars.
See, this is what I hope they run the entire second half. I want to see China play a tight zone, and then let's see the United States work on their passing, their cutting, and what they're going to be doing the rest of this tournament against zone defenses.
Kevin Johnson, Reggie Miller out of the corner. Rebound, Adil John. 71-40.
When you're a coach and you have such a young team and you're overpowered with talent, it is a nightmare because you're trying to stay positive, but you don't want them to give up. And unfortunately, they do a lot of good things, and it's negated like that right there. See, in Asia, he would have that shot off, it would be up, he might have a chance for a three-point play.
Tao Shen with nowhere to go against Shaquille O'Neal. 71-40 USA. Dumars, Kevin Johnson at the guards with Reggie Miller, Sean Kemp, and Shaquille. This is the starting team that Don Nelson has decided on for this World Championship. Kemp on the double team inside is going to just take it up anyway. Too strong.
Well, an interesting thing about China, they have 117 million people registered and playing in games. That is fantastic. And what you have seen, what they've been doing now with the track and the swimming, an awful lot of people feel that it could be done in basketball over there. But what they need is the advanced coaching.
We're talking about the strength of Sean Kemp. He gets the double team, but just splits it and goes straight up hard.
Well, that's just a you know, very heady ball fake. That can happen at any level of play because the majority of people who have you in a trap down there will follow the fake.
Adil John between the legs crossover dribble, but now beats Reggie Miller.
Nice pass. The player in the corner definitely was not ready to make that catch and look for the shot.
Nakeen Woe has it stolen by Joe Dumars. He was not ready to be played by Joe Dumars either. Russia-Angola playing at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto tonight in Pool C. 86-44. 3 minutes left in that game. Russia and Canada in the same pool, and they will play tomorrow, and it'll be a beauty. Shaquille to Dumars. I like watching Kemp at power forward. Of course, he plays at center or anywhere he wants to in Seattle. Almost got traded. There were a lot of talk of him getting going to be traded to the Bulls for Scottie Pippen earlier this year. Of course, that never came down. Shaquille O'Neal. Lively move that time with his jump hook.
Isn't it interesting now in all the European ball that we've seen over here so far, no double teaming the post. Where here in the United States, you realize, make a double team, force them to pass the ball out, run the shot clock down.
Of course, if you double team Shaquille O'Neal, you might have to deal with Sean Kemp on the break there.
You can see the Shaq man got away with a little hook that time with his left elbow.
77-40, 37-point lead by the United States, and a substitute coming in for the national team from the People's Republic of China. This is Min Shang-ji. He is a 6'10 backup center, only 23 years old, second tallest player on the team.
Now, he hardly played in St. Petersburg in 5 games, and you can see they did not use him in the first half. But this is the perfect time to give him some experience.
Here's Xi with the jumper.
And he says, I'm annoyed like Dominique Wilkins. Where's my playing time? I get in, I knock in my first shot.
Kemp to O'Neal.
That's like looking up at the Empire State Building, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it topples right on top of your head as he dunks over you.
79-42. 15-24 to go in this ball game. U.S. will play Brazil on Sunday. Not a very strong Brazilian team. Jun Sung shooting from the perimeter. That's a 3.
It's a very young Brazilian team. They won the 22 and under European Championships 2 years ago, so half of the players are from that ball club. Now, Oscar Schmidt is not with the team. The older D'Souza and many of their primetime scorers that were very big in international play for about a 10-year period of time. New faces on the Brazilian ball club.
Adil John trying to penetrate, kicks it to Jun Sung.
Now this guy right here just made that shot, son. I like him. Now he played extremely well over in St. Petersburg. He struggled last night, only had 8, and then again this evening he really hasn't done much. But he's a very young player and talented.
Bombs away. Well, at least they're basketballs. 84-48. USA, 14:23 to go in the ballgame. USA fouled out on the baseline against Joe Dumars. We'll have a timeout on the floor. 84-48. USA leading. We'll be back after this.
The World Championship of Basketball is brought to you by AT&T. We help put your world within reach. By Sprite. Image is nothing. Thirst is everything. Obey your thirst. Sprite. By IBM. There's never been a better time to do business with IBM. And by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys. This is the place. Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy.
There they are. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. The cold one. So get out of the old and get into the cold.
Hey, I'm talking to you. What is technology but the brain demanding more from the body? More than what was done. More than what is thought possible. Put the beyond within reach. Air squared. Strangely scientific.
So, did you hear about the big AT&T deal? Well, if you spend $25 a month on AT&T long distance, you can get AT&T True USA savings. 20% off your calls to anyone, anywhere in the USA. And if that wasn't big enough, AT&T True Rewards, with points good for free frequent flyer miles and free AT&T minutes. You won't get this big deal from MCI or Sprint, but to get it, you gotta call AT&T.
Your true voice.
Man, he's tall.
Where the NBA goes, so goes the jam session. This is at Nathan Phillips Square. Beautiful day in Toronto, about 65 degrees, crisp, low humidity. Really nice weather. By the way, as part of this, there was a fantasy broadcast competition. Hubie Brown and I were eliminated in the quarterfinals by a pair of 11-year-olds from Sudbury.
Why not?
And I thought we were pretty strong. We're going to not enter that anymore. The Nike Jam Session. It's a jam session here tonight. Turnovers, China 27-12. United States 26 points off of those turnovers, and Joe Dumars rounds it home. Joe has 13. He had 21 last night. I thought the international judges didn't give you and I a fair shake in the broadcast competition. Johnson.
Two-pointer for Nakeen Woe from Johnson.
Nakeen Woe knocks it down. It's 86-50.
That's what he does so well. Even in the NBA, you cannot fall asleep after you score, because if he sees daylight, he's taking it right to the front of the rim. 5 years now, he's averaged over 20 points and 9+ assists during those years.
Don Nelson still has his starting team on the floor here. Adil-Jan from the baseline turned down the shot. Heel loses it. Kevin Johnson back to the Shack man. And the foul. Shaquille with 14 now to go with 6 rebounds.
Big thing right now, you're coaching a China team. You know, you're just telling everybody, look, no one calls us any timeout. No one gets, you know, I'm not calling timeouts. We're just going to play. But what I want you to do is to continue to practice what our philosophy is. Try to get good percentage shots. We realize we're being overpowered, but remember, we have another game in this pool, you know, on Sunday, and we're going to be playing games all next week.
Adil-Jan, number 4, the point guard for the Chinese national team. Johnson, shot clock down to 12. Now at 8.
See, he has a standard old-time one-handed shot. He doesn't have a jump shot.
Short! Sean Kemp was intimidating the shooter. The loose ball is picked up by Zhang and stuck back in there. 90-52 USA. Kemp. A 40-point bulge.
Well, the fans are loving it. For every slam tonight, we've had a miss slam on the previous play. And fortunately, you're playing such inferior talent that you get the luxury of getting a second shot.
Mark Price in for Kevin Johnson.
Hey,
92-52, 40-point Bulls. Remember, Dream Team won their games by an average of 44 points in the Olympics of 92. The lob inside to O'Neal. He is fouled.
Dream Team won when you talk to Chuck Daly, and if you go back and think about it, but because of the coaches are with them, they'll tell you 75% of their offense was scored off their defense. That meant that they either blocked shots, stole the ball, held you to one shot, and they were constantly in the open floor. Only 25% of their possessions in Portland and in Barcelona did they have to run any kind of an offense. Well, that's a defensive domination type of a team. Unfortunately, we did not see that last night.
Xiaobing Gong just fouled out of the ball game in very limited playing time, but he's been trying to defend down inside. Reggie Miller with 15 now, as that's a 3.
Well, in last night's game, Joe Dumars was 5 for 8 in threes. Reggie Miller 4 for 9.
Jun Sun to Adil Jan. Mark Price with a height advantage. He may take him down and post him up. Shaquille blocking the shot attempt from Xi, who just shakes his head in amazement.
But you'd rather see in that situation, you're happy that he was up for the shot block the shot, keep the ball in play, and then get out on the break.
We've got that all-star, all-planet MVP thing down. Interviews, groovy shoes, worldwide renown.
Now we want to be world champions.
We're not giving up. That's why Dream Team teams together. That's why we're on the come.
Score one at McDonald's.
When you're supersized. Just 39 cents more for more drink and more fries.
Supersize any extra value meal and collect the Dream Team 2 today.
Then look out, world. We're hungry to play.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Here comes Dream Team 2, and they want to win the World Championship of Basketball.
Think we got a chance?
Dream Team 2 in the quarterfinal round, Tuesday at 9 on TNT.
It's important to know your rights. If you pay or receive child support, you have the right to ask for a review of the support amount. If there has been a change in your financial situation, such as a decrease or increase in your income, the loss of a job, or increased needs of the child, you may want to have your support level reviewed. For more information, write to Support, P.O. Box 30048, Lansing, Michigan 48909, or call 517-342-6480.
Now, there's a TV network for anyone who's ever wondered why. Ever wonder how an electric guitar works? How superstitions get started? How it feels to travel in space? Now there's a TV network for the curious, the inquisitive. A channel that answers the baffling questions of life, like why do we dream? It's called the Learning Channel, and it's new from your cable company. So turn on TV that will turn on your mind. The Learning Channel.
Cubs Coliseum, Hamilton, Ontario. This was the site of a big Team Canada victory over the Soviet Union in hockey a few years ago. Hamilton also the location of the famed Hamilton Tiger Cats in the CFL and is known as Steel Town. Final score, Maple Leaf Gardens, Russia over Angola, 94-57.
This is a beautiful building. It reminds me an awful lot of Houston and Miami. Probably the same contractor.
Xi getting it inside, then seeing O'Neal kicking it back again. Liu is number 11. Nice pass inside to Jun Sun. Shaquille is there to swat it away again. That's 3 blocks for Shaquille. By the way, Shaq missed his first shot of the game and is 8-8 shooting the ball since then. Xi down inside. Open man, Adil Jan. Offensive rebound, which is news for China. Wo Zheng gets the putback.
you think about tonight, they've had so many shot blocks in the lane and intimidation. They might go through a month of basketball playing, 30 games before they get the ball rejected this many times.
Shaquille with a score again. He's now 9 for 9 since missing in his opening shot. Go through a month of therapy, I think. Adil John will inbound. New shot clock. G. He gets past Shaquille O'Neal, and who does he run into? Sean Kemp.
Now Kemp got a piece of that one and send it short.
A little bit of an elbow flying there from Wo Zhang. Shaquille says, I felt the elbows of Bill Cartwright. Don't talk elbows. .10:04 to go in this ball game. View. Tough shot off the glass as he posted up Joe Dumars.
Yeah, but he likes that angle. That's the second time that's happened, where he's taken the player right to that spot, and he looks to bank the shot.
Adil John called for the foul on Mark Price. Dan Marley coming into the game for Green Team.
Personal foul on number 4, Adil John from China. The second is the 4th for China.
See, by Don Nelson playing Reggie Miller at small forward and then replacing him with Dan Marley, that leaves very few minutes for Dominique Wilkins at that position if you run into a close game like they did last night. That was a pass. See, they're fronting Shaquille down inside. Reggie threw that off the board right to him because the man fronted him and all he did was go. He's saying that was the pass. That was the pass. He's telling Nelson.
Reggie walked all the way over to the scorer's table to tell him it was a pass. It looked like a shot to me, Reggie. We're counting it as a shot. Sorry.
Well, see, you would definitely believe him because he has such a great touch. That ball was about 4 feet above the rim with like a bullet.
99-56, USA easily over China. On Sunday, USA and Brazil will conclude the first round competition in Pool A. 9:27 to go in this one. Zhang to Adil John. 5 to shoot. Long ball from Jun-Sun. That's for 3. Mark Price with the penetration. Shaquille trouble handling it.
That was a beautiful pass right into his hands.
G is called for the foul. Here's Jun-Sun with his three-point shot.
Well,
Good shooter.
Sun, one of their, key three-point shooters. He's always looking for the shot. That was an NBA 3. He has a very nice rotation, an excellent release, soft touch. I told you earlier, he really played probably to his best of his ability in St. Petersburg in the 5 games. Always in the high double-figure scoring. Here he has struggled in games 1 and 2.
Shaquille sits down. 20 points, 5 rebounds. Derek Coleman in with the rebound. The dish to Sean Kemp. Liu with the loose ball to Adil John. Jun-Sun, he'll take that one. Dan Marley. Bullet inside, Derek Coleman. Coleman has 8. Now the pressure. G with the ball fake, and he's fouled hard by Sean Kemp. By the way, we'll have 6 of these World Championship games for you here on TNT. Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Gary Bender and Chuck Daly will come in to relieve the starters, Hubie and myself. Or is it who finishes? Well, that's not going to do. At 9 o'clock at Eastern time, the U.S. will be playing Wednesday night at 9, and then on Friday and Saturday, Ron Thulin and Doug Collins will be in for you. So we'll have 6 games here in the World Championship game, Sunday telecast both times this Sunday and the following Sunday on NBC. Our erstwhile colleagues in NBA television. 101-61 USA. Welcome Chuck Daly, by the way, to our Turner Sports family. He and Vern Lundquist will be handling the broadcast on the Thursday night games on TBS this coming NBA season, where we will have 75 regular season games for you on TNT and TBS, and then the blitzkrieg of the playoffs again. A lot of changes in the NBA. He'll be looking forward to some of the changes.
There have been some interesting changes, and especially if the Horace Grant contract gets finalized down in Orlando. When you think of their starting team, it is really going to be a very, very exciting basketball group coming out of Orlando next year.
Mark Price knocks down the free throws. 102-61. Dealjohn is tied up by Reggie Miller and Dan Marley. It's a nightmare. Dream is the wrong word. Nightmare Team 2 is how they might be listed. Alonzo Mourning checking in.
Inside Stuff. Saturday.
World Championship of Basketball. The U.S. has won the gold only 2 times. And if you take a look back to '87, the U.S. collegiate amateur players lost a lot of times in world competition.
Yeah, but also the teams that represented us at that time were never at full strength. They did not have all of the best collegians. Some of them were in summer school. Some of them did not want to participate. So you must give them their due there. But in 1989, FIBA changed the rules, allowed the professional players to come in, and then the NBA joined within this program. And now the players are selected by a 10-man committee, 5 from the NCAA college staff, and then also 5 from the NBA, mostly general managers, and then there are some extra players.
You know, Alonzo Mourning is blowing his cover as the angry intimidator of the NBA. He's a jokester on this team. Little grin from Alonzo. Mark Price said that was one of the biggest surprises of Dream Team 2 was the cut-ups of Alonzo Mourning. Speaking of Price. 106-61. 7:45 remaining. China with a new player into the game. Da-Ching Liu wears number 13. Da-Ching Liu is 6'4", 198 pounds. He's 25 years old. Most of the players on this team, 23, 24, 25, in that neighborhood. Liu. Intimidated by Alonzo Mourning. Mark Price to Mourning.
Mourning was definitely hit, and he went right down on the floor. Now, he was lucky that something bad didn't happen that time.
Wilkins with the follow-up basket. Dominique has 6 in limited playing time. All 12 of the Dream Teamers played in the first half. Liu to Jun Sun. It'll belong to China. Alonzo Mourning last to touch it. Speaking of dreaming, the Chinese national team will sleep well tonight. They have been worn out in more ways than one. They're very tired in this end-to-end competition here.
And last night they played the last game in the evening. The game went into overtime. They win it 97-91. An awful lot of jubilation because it's their first win in 2 weeks of playing on the international level. So it's disheartening for them to have to play the United States tonight. Because even if they played a perfect game, they would probably go down by 30 or more points.
Jun Sun with 11 points, all in the second half. 6:22 to go.
Well, they're sitting back now in that 2-3 zone again. Unfortunately, in order to get in it, you have to score.
Dominique Wilkins raked it loose, gets it back from Alonzo Mourning. Price with the hold on Jun Sun. The Games are being played here in the Toronto area. Hamilton about 40 miles away from Toronto on the western edge of Lake Ontario. The preliminary games and the losers bracket games will be played here in Copps Coliseum. Maple Leaf Gardens and the Sky Dome, the scene of the quarters, semis, and championship.
Well, you know, some people are probably watching and saying, why are we seeing the USA team pressing? Well, you know, you can look at it a number of ways, but from a coaching standpoint, you're trying to get your guys to get out and practice their pressure defense. And also, because you've only been together for 2 weeks, you're also trying to get guys in shape quickly. So if they're only going to be on the floor for 20 minutes or less, let's see them do the maximum, get their legs defensively in shape.
Dominique Wilkins now with 10 points, 6 in the second half, after that jump shot from the corner. 10 to shoot. This is Liu. Marley has Wilkins. Abdul-John has Wilkins. And the spin move from Dominique. With 12.
Little mustard that time, but creativity. Now keep an eye on Dominic. This is his pet move. He'll take you in and then run the reverse, come right back on that spin baby hook. He's done it many, many, many a night.
He has the last 8 points for the United States team. 34 years old, the elder statesman. They've nicknamed him Grandpapa to go with Larry Johnson's nickname. On Dream Team 2. 5 seconds to shoot on the 30-second international shot clock, and the pass intercepted by Dan Marley. 3-on-1.
I'm stunned. I'm stunned because he didn't give the ball up. That was a 3-on-1. Marley takes a decision to dunk over the defender, and yet you have 2 big men running on the outside. Now just keep an eye on this. Watch Mourning in the right lane, and then you have Wilkins in the left lane. I mean, I'm really shocked that he took the shot.
Dan Marley, one of only 2 Dream Teamers to have not scored. That may have played into his thinking there. 114-65, U.S. up over the Chinese national team. Derek Coleman will sit down. We have Steve Smith, Alonzo Mourning, Dan Marley, Dominique Wilkins, and Larry Johnson on the floor.
As we look through the tournament, Bob, we know that Croatia and Canada, Russia, Greece, and Puerto Rico all have strong international teams with a spattering of NBA experience. But Croatia really has the most talent, with Toni Kukoc, Dina Raja, then Brankovic at 7'4", who played for the Boston Celtics. So they have some guys, but they just don't have any depth. But that's a team that could surprise a lot of people, get in there and then play the United States. And it will be interesting to watch if they should meet, because if they packed in and played zones, but they must stay out of foul trouble.
See Kevin Johnson going into the locker room. He injured his lip earlier when he fell down on the baseline on a drive, tripped over the knee of Tao Shen, the 7'1" center for China, and I'm sure they're going in to perhaps give him a stitch or 2. Pretty nasty cut inside the lower lip.
Well, he's one of the exciting players to watch. For myself, I enjoy watching him play when he's at Phoenix, because no one guy can play him. He sucks up the double teams. He's very unselfish, but then the big point is he can finish.
With that 3 from Steve Smith, all 12 of the Dream Teamers have now scored at least 1 point. 118-67, 4 minutes remaining in this game.
See, with the United States switching on any kind of screening in a game like this, they just overpower the offensive player as he comes out. But last night we saw in the switching with Spain, anytime there was a mismatch after the first 10 minutes, they would find the guy with the advantage, and he could get the job done offensively. And
a lot of the other players, we had an opportunity to talk to Reggie prior to Dream Team 2's action here in Toronto.
Playing for your country is probably the highest honor anyone could be given to them, especially to be chosen to play for your country. Anytime you're going to put USA across your chest and wear the red, white, and blue and hear the anthem. If you can't get psyched, if you can't get ready to play, then you're not a true American. And I was selected late to this team, so every day I'm enjoying this probably a little bit more than the guys because they were announced a lot earlier than I was. So I'm probably more enthusiastic than everyone else.
Jun Sun handling the ball for the Chinese national team.
Well, Reggie was selected late because of the injuries to Isaiah Thomas as well as Hardaway. And then when he went into camp, just exploded, opened the eyes of everyone. And with Don Nelson saying, I never realized what a great player Reggie Miller really is. He has the complete package, mainly because Golden State only plays against Indiana, twice a year. But Reggie Miller is one of the premier shooters of all time in this NBA, the history of the league, because he's a over 50% shooter for his career, over 40% in threes, and in over 87% on the foul line.
3 minutes to go in this game. Liu from 16. Yudong Liu with 12 points. 121-69. Larry Johnson, Steve Smith, Dominique Wilkins, Dan Marley, and Alonzo Mourning on the floor for Dream Team 2. See Isaiah Thomas on the bench with this team. Tim Hardaway also here.
Well, it's a shame that Isaiah didn't get a chance to play here. You're talking about a guy, 13 years in the league, 12-year All-Star, 2 times MVP in the All-Star game, 2 rings, and then the many times that he was chosen All-NBA, 4th leading assist player in the history of the NBA with over 9,000 assists. And what a lot of people forget who only saw him at the end of his career, he was one of the premier scorers in the league for the first 4 or 5 seasons. Then he had to change his game because of all of the talent, and he submerged it all for the betterment of the team. Tore his Achilles heel, had major surgery, and unfortunately that's how the career ends.
Dominique Wilkins missing from 3-point range. Adil John. With 2.5 to go, Liu with the ball fake. Good play on the baseline. Chinese now with full court pressure. Johnson inside to Alonzo. World Championship lasts for 11 days here in the Ontario region. Championship game on August 14th. And in case you haven't followed World Championship basketball since it began back in 1950, the United States has won the gold medal in the World Championship play only 2 times.
12, Dominique Wilkins. He has 3. That's 8 on the U.S.
Jun Sun will go to the free throw line for China.
Jun Sun on the penalty now, shooting 1-1 for China.
Decent crowd here tonight. I would just estimate them in this 15,000 seat arena at probably 11 or 12,000. Enjoying the hijinks of Dream Team 2. Wilkins, Larry Johnson, who's fouled.
Well, the second game this evening also, a lot of people are looking for a close contest. Spain will be playing Brazil, but I honestly think that, Spain should be a heavy favorite in that game. Now, for the old days, years past, yes, that would be a major attraction, definitely, and there would be many marquee players in the game.
Oscar Schmidt not with Brazil.
Right, they
still
said
playing
that he's
pro
too
ball.
old. Yeah. How about that? Over in St. Petersburg, the coach says Oscar's too old. Refuses to play defense, so we're just going to allow him to stay over there, and he plays in the Spanish Pro League, where he averages about 38 a game,
which is his age,
but very seldom crosses half court.
Jun Sun. Under 2 minutes to go in this ball game. Xi posting up Larry Johnson. One of the rare height mismatches for the Chinese team, as Xi is 6'10". Mourning with the rebound. Steve Smith cross court. Marley inside Wilkins. Ball fake. Dominique goes to the free throw line. 85% career free throw shooter. The human highlight film, 12 years in the NBA, and he'll finish his career undoubtedly with the Boston Celtics.
Right. You see the 9-time All-Star and 9th leading scorer, but he was all NBA 7 times. Made the first team once, second team 4 times, third team twice. You know, he really finished an outstanding year this season. I mean, he scored over 26 points, and then he also came in and was rewarded with a third-team All-NBA at the end of the season.
So the Clippers trade Manning to Atlanta for Dominique Wilkins, and neither team ends up with the player after it's all said and done, as Manning is now with the Phoenix Suns.
Well, both teams, though, they knew that they would not be able to re-sign the player for the amount of money that they wanted to pay the guy, but now they have, the two of them have at least over $3 million slots to go out and find a free agent. If you can find one that would demand that kind of a paycheck.
Aha, and therein lies the rub.
Yes.
Minute 9 to go in this one. 10 seconds to shoot for the Chinese national team. Xi missing from the corner. Wilkins with the rebound. Open court. Dominique. Steve Smith. Larry Johnson. Fouled hard.
We didn't hit him. We only got him with an axe and a bench. That's all we got him with that time.
Derek Coleman, Sean Kemp.
I mean, you talk. I mean, this is an NBA stare down. Look at this. Now what? The referee makes the call, and they both have the nerve. They're staring the referee down, like, we fouled.
Xi will sit down. He fouled out quickly. A couple of the Chinese players have fouled out of this ball game. So Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, and Robert Parrish occasionally will make up the front line for the Charlotte Hornets, who also added Michael Adams to their backcourt to back up Lindsey Bowles.
Well, they're definitely staying with that beep guard approach.
That's for sure.
You know, you shoot and get a foul shot or a field goal, we're getting a shot off in 4 seconds.
Alonzo Mourning puts it on the floor and loses it. Got the foul against Steve Smith. I think we were about to see a dunk from Tao Shen there, too. Physical toward the end of the ball game. Only 40 seconds left. 130.
One of the nicest things I've seen ever in basketball. Tao Shen. Now just keep an eye here. Now just watch. They're going to give it to him. He's going to give you the head fake. He always does this. And then they land on top of him. He accidentally knocked the player to the floor in St. Petersburg, and he thought he really hurt the player. He went over, apologized, picked the player up off the floor, and then folded his hands in front of him and bowed to the player because he was embarrassed that he hit the player that hard.
I've seen Barkley and Kemp after a collision do that. Haven't you seen that?
Yeah, right.
Wilkins, Dominique blowing up a lot of points here in the second half. He has 15 in the game. He's the second high scorer on the U.S. team. .20 seconds to go in this game. The tip in from Liu.